We are live!
Welcome to the Uncle Jimmy and Cousin Donnie show, sponsored by the Beacon Tap, Signature Transportation Group, and Mom and Dad Water. Cousin Donnie, how you feeling today, buddy?
What you got behind you there?
How you feeling today, huh?
Yeah, good for you. That's
Do you remember the first show of the year, the first tournament of the year, when you came on this show and you were holding trophies?
Hell
and you
yeah.
were doing your thing, huh?
I still got that trophy right here next to me.
How does it feel, Cousin Donnie?
It's great. I'm happy for you. You know, it's about time that I knew 45 was going to get one, and you guys are going to get.
Let me just make sure it's
Visible?
okay.
That's perfect.
Perfect. I just want to make sure you see it the whole time on the show. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I'm happy for you guys. I always pull for you guys, and you know, our guest tonight is also from your team. I'm happy for the 45 for getting a win on the hottest weekend of the year. You can see that Jimmy and I both are very tan after this weekend because we spent so much time in the sun, and it was an interesting weekend for sure. I'll say that.
oh yeah. So I don't know if it's me, Donnie, or if it's your voice, but I think I'm losing you a little bit.
Hold on. It sounds a little choppy. One sec. I just tried to mute myself and then unmuted. How's that sound?
It still sounds the same, but that's okay. If you want to hop out and hop back in really quick, I'm going to go ahead and talk really quick about the Dana Strong tournament while you hop out. I appreciate the support, guys. I know last week's show we had tons of people that have reached out since the show. I believe we had 2 more teams that reached out. I know that the current situation, we are about 20 teams right now in regards to that are interested in the tournament. Had 2 more reach out, like I said, so we're getting closer and closer to the number I want to be at. Hopefully, that number is going to be in the 20s this year. Last year we had 20 teams right now in regards to that are interested in the tournament. Donnie, is that you there?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was just talking about Dana Strong really quick. As it sounds like we have a mic issue. I don't know if it's something to do with your computer or, I mean, I know it ain't Jeff. Jeff's in the thing. But Travis just said that you guys have a lot of distortion on your mics.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the sound. I'm sorry about this to start the show. It's weird. It's black. Your camera is black, but it's working on the stream, so whatever. Can you hear me okay? Does it sound all right?
Yeah, I mean, you sound better than you did before, but it's still little issues with it. So just to give you a heads up. So I don't know if you want to hop out and let's see how it sounds and then hop back in, maybe change your internet. So as I was saying before he really interrupted me, the Dana Strong tournament's going to be August 23rd, obviously at Wentworth Park. 20 plus teams this year, obviously, picking just new opportunities, new people, new families, and so on. So come out and support it. I know we're going to have fire trucks. We're going to have all sorts of stuff out there. It's always a good time. I know this year I feel like teams are not going to load up as much. on the major side, which might bring us a more competitive tournament from both sides of the field. So hopefully Donnie here has fixed his mic. I can hear it right away. Oh, that sounds way better.
We shall see. We shall see.
Yeah, your mic is Lane's saying it's only Donnie's mic that's bad. So,
Perfect.
but yeah, no one wants to listen to you anyways. So probably a good thing.
How's that? Is that better? Can everybody let me know if that's better? I just tried to change up where the microphone setting is coming from, so hopefully that worked.
You sound a little better. You still got a little distortion, but sound better. Donnie, let's just talk about a recap of the weekend before we bring Jeff on. We had some topics that you and I know want to discuss from the weekend, but overall, what did you think of the SSA Summer Classic?
Yeah. Hopefully it sounds okay on your end. I don't want this to be a bad product by any means. If it sounds okay, that's good. It was hot this weekend. Unfortunately, we lost Thursday night and then had to play, 2 games on Saturday. We were out there all day. And then Sunday morning had to be there early. So what happens when you lose the first game? You have to go through the losers bracket. It was unfortunate to see a couple teams drop out of the tournament. And then, towards the end of the tournament, guys were gassed and injured, and it led to a late forfeit in a tournament, which I've never seen before. I'm sure those guys were dying out there. I know the Flash guys got out there for like a 9-15 game, if I'm not mistaken, against High Y. So they have probably had enough as well. But it was an interesting event. Not as many teams as we'd hope for a major tournament. Some great showings from teams that I will give shouts out to. One guy I wanted to shout out plays for one of the teams. Whale had a great weekend. Whale beat Flash early in the tournament on Friday and then made it late to Sunday where they faced Flash again, where Flash ended up beating them and knocking them out. But a great weekend for the guys with Whale. Great showing from Los Barachos as well to make it into Sunday and then lose to Whale Sunday morning when we got there. But, a couple of teams that are making it to Sunday now more often. That Whale team is great. It was great to see Hex make it into the championship. Jimmy, how about that first championship game? What was the thought process as they had a huge 5th inning? Want to talk about that at all?
Actually, that was the second game of the championship. So that was the I guess it was the first game of the championship. You're right. The first time we played them was the winners bracket final, and then it felt like we played again. So, but yeah, no, it was crazy. It was one of the craziest 5th innings I think I've ever been a part of. We go into the inning up 5-2. They put a 12 spot on us.
Yep.
And then we're down 14-5, and I told our guys when I came off the field, like, this is not over. Like we have a chance to come back, and we go back out in the field up 16-14. We put an 11 spot back at them. So
crazy.
23 runs scored in that inning. And then we go on to score 3 in the bottom half of the 6th after we get them a 0. And we go back out in the field, I believe it was 19-14. And I think the game ended somewhere around there, 19-14. So
wow,
it was just a crazy 5th inning. I've never been a part of 23 runs in an inning before.
And it was 100 degrees. So standing in the heat for, an inning that probably felt like it was going on for hours, right?
Yes.
Nonstop scoring, hits, runs, crazy stuff going on. But a very interesting 5th inning to watch on the stream with all the action you could ever want in a 16-inch softball game. But great on you guys to get the job done. Congrats on a tournament victory, Jimbo. Happy for you. And hopefully that's the last one you win of the year.
Yeah, we I know you want it to be the last one,
right.
But I hope it's not. Okay.
Right.
And once again, like I said, we're going to get into some topics about the tournament, but I think now is a good time. Let's get to the MVP of the tournament, who's my teammate. We call him obviously Jeff Mustari. So he plays third base for the 45s. For those that don't know, we try to keep him on the DL. He's single and available. He's ready to mingle, Donnie. Okay, so we're trying to find Jeff a girl.
So
right?
this is the Uncle Jimmy Cousin Donnie dating hour with Jeff Mustari.
Yes. So let's get over to Jeff because I know he's gonna have a big smile on his face because I always say he's ready to mingle.
He usually does have a good smile on his face.
Thanks, Jimmy.
There he is.
What's going on?
What's going on, Jeff? So Donnie, your mic's acting up again. But Jeff, welcome to the Uncle Jimmy and Cousin Donnie show. I know we're teammates, so I get to see you a ton. But welcome. I know it's your second time on because I know when you guys won a tournament last year, you joined the feed with, I believe, Nate, and I want to say either Chucky or Anthony, somebody else, or PJ.
PJ.
At the time. So once again, welcome back. I know Donnie's going to be hopping on and off. I know there's really bad weather going on outside right now, so maybe that could be a lot to do with it. Lane said Jeff buy a light bulb. He's actually sitting outside, folks. This is the dedication he has for the show.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he didn't have good internet either in the house. So who knows? I think we're all working with AT&T. We might have to give a call to AT&T. But Jeff, before Donnie hops back on, tell the fans and people who you are, how you got into softball, what started your career in 16-inch.
So, like my whole life, I played baseball all through high school, travel ball as a kid. College, I played for 2 years at Oakton. And when I was really young, I'd be at Majewski with my dad watching his games. I don't really remember much of that because I was like really, really young. But I did that for a while. Then no softball happened while I was playing baseball because my dad was done. And then in high school, our school did like a mush ball league at Rand. So we joined that with our buddies. And then in college, we went to Rand again for a 16-inch league. And then I was playing there and Majewski with like just family friends and stuff like that. And then eventually I went to Hardway with Jimmy DeVito, played in the A-League.
Yep.
And now I'm up to major.
So before we get into this weekend and, kind of what our team did and how it went, you mentioned you started out early. I know you played for Hardway, an A team.
Yeah.
Are young. How was that transition moving from Hardaway to 45
Before we get into this week,
in regards to what that looked like and what did they feel when you left and had to tell your buddies you were moving on?
I definitely felt bad leaving because I only played for one season with them. But going from there to major was like way more competition to where people were showing up and hitting balls way harder for sure. It wasn't like a big difference, but it was something that I was like, I noticed right away, like, oh, this is going to be a challenge.
Right. So Donnie, before we kicked you off because of your mic, Jeff gave a little background about himself and talking about the jump from Hardway A-ball to major ball. So I'm just going to lead right into your first question. So go right ahead.
Well, thank you, Jeff, for jumping on, no matter if I can see you or not. I appreciate you being a part of the show. You're someone that I've gotten, to know a little bit more as we've kept playing. We've played at different parks together. We've played at random stuff at, up north. Jimmy's got his juice box there on the left side. Thanks, Jim, for that. But yeah, just growing to know you a little bit better. I appreciate you jumping on the show. So I noticed Saturday night you had a large support system out there watching your game. I know your dad. I talk to your dad all the time when he's at the field. I know he was devastated to watch you courtesy run during TOC only because he couldn't watch you play. You were just a runner because your shoulder was acting up. But what's it like having a support system like that for when you're out there playing on a Saturday night with your dad and that group of people that are able to come out and watch you?
Oh, it's awesome. My parents come to like almost every single game unless it's really late and then they're already in bed by then. But my friends from Hardway, those guys played on Hardway. They came out. Bunch of buddies from back home that I'm always with came out, and it's pretty cool that they showed up.
For sure. And that's an opportunity for them to see kind of what ball is like at that level too.
Yeah.
Because I know those guys at Hardway play kind of that A, B level, if I'm not mistaken. I know Matt Johnson played with the 45s a little bit last year, didn't see a ton of playing time in your first year with the 45s. He was feeling himself too. at the tournament,
Yeah,
if I may
yeah,
say.
he was.
He was having a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, just it's really cool to see the support system that you have. I know your dad was a great player too. Was he influential in your decision to play for the 45s?
No, not really. Like maybe a little bit, but I always told him before when I was playing just at Majewski, I was like, I'm not going to join these like major teams or A teams because I don't really want to put. I mean, it's a lot of time, and I'm sure you guys know. And
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. And then I started playing and getting more reps and realizing like, I probably want to do this. So then I was playing tournaments, and Nate saw me, and then I was like, maybe I want to play major. And he gave me a call. And then obviously Izzy's with him, and my dad's good buddies with Izzy.
Mhm.
So they talked, and then I eventually got invited out. So yeah.
Yeah. So my next question, Jeff, since we're on the topic of your parents, your parents and I have a great relationship, and now they come to the games with 29 on their jerseys.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet, but maybe.
You know, but your dad, he loves to bust balls more than anybody. I haven't seen him pick a winner yet for a horse. Is he going to finally give me a winner?
I don't know. I need to get them from him too. I'm waiting.
So when I see that man, I'll tell you, the next time I see him, it'll be sometime this week, I'm sure. Hopefully he brings a winner to the park.
All right, I'll let him know.
All right. I don't know if you know this, Donnie, but his father, he likes to dabble a little bit with the horses.
I know Jeff does too. Jeff and I talk ball a little bit once in a while.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Jeff and I were talking about the U.S. Open winners, and neither of us got even close. So
Yeah,
Not
nowhere
even-
near.
that was how I talked to him last.
Not even close.
Yep.
Donnie's a mush, just so you know. Donnie, who'd you pick this weekend to win the tournament?
Hex. I picked Hex. You're the mush this weekend because Circus went 0-2.
No, I thought did I pick Circus?
You did, my friend.
Oh, we're gonna have to rewind the tape.
Go check the tape because you had them and I said Hex because of their draw, and I wanted to pick someone different. I'll remember it like it was clear as day.
So before I get to my next question, I want to just get out to the people that are watching here. Want to say hello. William Durr obviously has jumped on a million times. Adam Cumby is welcome to the show. Our boy Brian Sloan, Rob Garzano, our boy CJ's out there, Lane Neiman's out there. That's all the names I've seen that popped up. But
I've got Leidig is on there, Lane Neiman, Robbie Garsano.
Yeah.
Drew Leidig said, "Get him off the street. Come to Chuck's. I have a room for you." He thinks you're standing on the street corner right now doing the stream, which is funny. I want to give a quick shout out, Jim, while we're mentioning people that are watching the show. Jim Macy, who always checks in and watches our show, was following our signature team around this weekend and watching a lot of our games. And, we were talking about different topics and things while we were, at the park. And he appreciates and watches the show every week. And I got a chance to meet him in person for the first time. So that was really cool. But I do like being able to meet the people that watch our show regularly and just kind of put a face to the name of people that we see chiming in and chatting.
Yep. So, Jeff, I know we're going to have you here for another, 15, 20 minutes at most. But my next question with you is that now that you've been playing major ball, it's your second year, name one guy in softball right now that you would like to play with. Let's just call it in the next, 5 years. Now that I'm on your team, I'm sure I would have been first.
Yeah, you were.
Outside of that, now, who's the next guy in line, that you would like to play with, just say in the next, before your career is over, because you're just starting out your career.
So I've played with a bunch of people like in tournaments and random tournaments, but someone who I'm sure Donnie knows is a stud is Spencer Mahoney. Yep. He's a great player. He'd be someone that I want to play with.
Hear that, Donnie?
I did.
Don't be trying to steal my guy, though.
I just got another piece for recruiting, Jeff, after the season's over.
Or we might take him.
Hey, good luck.
You got to be careful.
Good luck. Yeah, he's great to play with. He's a great leader and an even better player. So we get that answer a lot, Jeff. Pick somebody else.
Then you, Donnie.
Yeah, all right, good answer. All right, cool. Nice.
So our boy Adam Cumby said he rushed home from the A-League to see us. Look at that.
Yeah.
What
he
a
was doing
man.
some streams. I was chiming in and watching his stream. He does a nice job over there for Forest Park on Mondays and Tuesdays. I think he does Monday, Tuesday, A-League and Major League over there. So he does a great job with those.
I also want, before my next question, Donnie, I know you got a question or two left. I want to throw a shout out to Travis from Iowa.
Yep.
He sent me a post. I didn't pull it up because the dollies. So it could be the first ever Iowa women's team coming to nationals this year to compete in the women's national tournament. So they're not a lock yet, but I know that Travis is trying really hard. The Dollies is a team that's definitely going to hopefully join us for major nationals. It'll be the first ever women's team to come. I think it'd be pretty awesome to have that.
Very cool. Yeah, I saw you message us that. Well, that's great. For the game, grow the game, and let's see some more exposure to the women's side of thing. I think that's great.
Yep. And I had a picture up, and unfortunately it's gone. I don't know where it happened to it, but we had another gentleman call us or text in. It was a picture of the Merrimack Park 2025 County Fair champions. So I am going to throw a shout out to them as well. So thank you guys for sending that stuff in. I will upload your picture onto our site, and I'll show everyone for the next show. So picture came in a little late, unfortunately, and it wasn't uploaded on this show, but wanted to throw it out there. So Drew Ladick also put on there a first ever women's B no glove team, A no glove team, and hopefully Hall of Fame and Chuck's get an invite to Forest Park. I don't know, Drew. We're trying to keep Iowa out of Forest Park this year. So we'll see, but no, I'm sure you guys will be invited, buddy. Don't worry. And if not, I'm sure we'll have a nice conversation with JD. So, but yes, Drew brings up a good point, Jeff. I don't know if you know this before Donnie hops back on. It's the first time ever we've had a B team from Iowa joining us, a team joining us in Los Lobos, and then also Hall of Fame. So Iowa completing all the tournaments.
Oh wow.
Donnie, you're really bad, buddy. It's
getting hard to hear.
Yeah, he's getting hard to hear. So Jeff, I'm going to get on to my next question as Donnie tries to figure out his internet and having some serious issue. Who is the best looking teammate that you currently play with? You don't have to say me because we know the obvious answer, but who is the best looking teammate you feel on the 45s?
Got to be my guy with the slick back hair, Danny.
So
nice
Danny,
hair. I love that.
All right. You're making one guy very upset right now, and that's our boy Chucky.
I know. I was gonna say that, but I was thinking about that hair.
As he's giggling right now in his police car. So, but yeah, Donnie's still trying to figure it out. So I'm gonna hop into our next question. We talk about what are things in softball, that are good and bad for the game, right? We talk about those things all the time. What is something that bothers you right now in softball?
How am I doing? Sound a little better?
I think
Okay.
a little bit.
Son of a bitch.
So what are some things that bother you about 16 in softball?
The thing that I didn't even realize until I joined is league games. I wish they meant something.
Okay.
Half the time teams show up with half their guys or not trying or don't care if they win or lose or whatever. But when I go there, I don't care what game it is. I want to win.
Right.
And if we go and just slaughter a team that is a top team, that's not fun.
No. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's something that we've talked about, as a group on our team, something we've talked about on the show plenty of times. But yes, league play is number one on my list this offseason of trying to bring some new changes to the game, right?
Yeah.
Where we can create some type of system, some type of something where games will actually mean something.
Yeah.
That level. I don't know if that's going to help attendance. I don't know. But if you're playing for something, I think it might make a difference, right? I know we're going to get a ton of people in the chat talk about this as the night goes on. You know, it's one of our topics for Donnie and I tonight. Hopefully Donnie can fix his mic. Donnie, go ahead. Can we hear you? No, you're good. Oh, he was good. He was good. So we're gonna start calling. I don't know what to call him right now, but he's like the Mike North. I don't know if you guys rewinded the Mike North show. Mike North had a ton of problems trying to figure it out, the voice, the sound, everything. So pretty funny. But I know Donnie's got some questions for you, but I'm just gonna hop on to the last question because I don't want to keep you hanging as Donnie's trying to figure this stuff out. You mentioned league play. You mentioned a lot of stuff about, and we talked about this when we did our 45s victory video.
All right, that's it. I got it.
You got
There
it.
we go. There we
You
go.
sound a lot better. Sound a lot better. So Donnie, before I was going to get to my last question, do you have any questions left for Jeff?
Bullshit. This show sucks.
Hold on.
You can't hear us?
You couldn't hear us?
No.
I think it has a lot to do with the outside. I really do. So you need me to join in for Donnie, Drew. Drew Ladick. So Richie says, "Congrats, Kevin." I don't know what that
Thanks,
means.
Richie.
What?
You want to know what that means?
Yeah.
The first time we met, it was in we're going to Yuma, I think it was.
Yeah.
Or just an Arizona tournament, whatever. And we're at the dinner table, and he's calling me Kevin the whole night, but I'm not responding because I didn't know he was talking to me. But he's saying Kevin, this, whatever. And then a day later, he asked someone what my name was, and they said Jeff. He goes, "Oh my God, I thought it was Kevin." So he thought I was just ignoring him or whatever. And since then, he just called me Kevin.
And that was one of the March tournaments out in
Yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah.
So let's see Donnie here. Let's see if he's got it fixed. My man.
I'm back.
You're back, dude. And
Let me guess. Jimmy asked, "Who's the best looking person on the 45s? What's one thing that bothers you in the game?" While I was gone, hold on. I've got some help from Adam Cumby. We're all good. I think I fixed it. We're all good. Hey, why does Richie call you Kevin?
He just told us.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Fuck it. I don't care.
All right. So get on to your next question, Donnie.
All right. Sorry for the interruptions, guys. I'm trying to get this internet figured out.
Hey, that's the best part about live TV, my man. Shit happens.
Yeah, making it work. Jeffrey, it's your second year of major softball, okay? Coming from Hardway to 45s last year in your first year, and now second year with them. What's been the biggest adjustment in year 2 compared to year 1? What's been your, the biggest thing that you're finding successful in year 2, and then something you might be struggling with still that, you can improve on?
Definitely, it's got to be my hitting. The first year, I didn't really place balls or try and go certain ways as much as I am towards the end of last year and now. But when I just started, I was just trying to rip the ball, which is, I guess, fine because it's still coming in hard. But now I'm looking at the fielders, where they're playing, and where I could actually find a gap or something like that.
Yep.
And that was definitely the biggest thing that I noticed.
If I may add to that, I will compliment you and say, as a pitcher who has faced you now plenty of times, last year you seemed to just pull the ball as hard as you could every single time. And then, caught on to that a little bit as a pitcher, like, all right, let's try and get him to do something else. This year, you have had great success with right center and, hitting different holes and trying different things. So it's really great on you to start developing that swing, and that's dangerous to now face you with multiple, weapons that you've got. So good on you to try to develop more. But do you miss anything about the A game? Do you miss anything about that lower level ball now with your buddies?
It's definitely it was fun. It was a bunch of guys that I like to play with. I mean, I still like playing with everyone that I'm with now, but it was just more relaxed. When I come here, I want to win every single game no matter what. I mean, still I did then, but it wasn't as you had to win type of thing.
Great. No, that's good.
Yeah, no, he's 100% right. I mean, Donnie, we've played this game. All of us want to win every single game, right?
Yeah, of course.
We were talking a little bit about when you hopped off. and trying to figure out your mic, we were talking about leagues and what we could do to make leagues better moving forward. I know it's a topic of discussion that you and I are going to have, but overall, I feel like the young kids in the game today, Jeff's age, your age, we have to make leagues. We have to make those type of environments better, right? Unless I don't think, Donnie, personally, is major softball going to be around in 10 years?
I mean, I would certainly hope so. I mean, you've got a really good group of, younger kids right now in my age, probably that 20. Jeff, what are you, 25, 24, 25?
26.
26? That age, like 26 to 32, that still wants to be really competitive in this game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then, that upper age bracket may, start to fade off in the next 10 years. So it's on that lower group of human beings. You'll play to your 100, Jim. Auntie Jenny's going to kick you out of the house every Tuesday. Go play your games. I got this. That age group, right, of that 26 to 32 is going to have to transition the younger group into where we are now. So hopefully the 10 years still a major is very competitive. We hope so. But that's my take on that.
So, Donnie, this has nothing to do with Jeff, but it just came to my head when you mentioned younger guys and younger teams. We were talking about the Grave Diggers.
Yeah.
Okay? And Signature got to play the Grave Diggers.
We did.
And I found out a little bit about the Grave Diggers.
Yeah.
So Jimmy Fiore's son, who's 19 years old, is their pitcher.
Yeah.
Jimmy Fiore was an old hype guy. I don't know if any of you guys know that, but an old hype guy and played hype, was a pitcher for hype. So that was awesome to see some kind of, just background on a little bit of the Grave Diggers. And they're a young team, and they're all 19 to 21, 22-year-old kids. They gave High Y a game. They hit the ball at Y. How did they do against Cousin Donnie the second round after they beat you 2-1?
They played us in Westchester with Meatball City. They beat Meatball 2-1, and then it was a little different of a ball game in the tournament setting against Signature. But I'll tell you what, those kids had a blast out there on the field.
Yeah.
They had zero expectation, in my opinion. They just went out and tried to hit the ball hard a couple times and have fun. We scored runs early, and their pitcher did struggle with the wind. It was really windy that game, so I think he walked like 6 or 7 guys, which made it easy for us to kind of compile some runs early in that game. But there's some promising kids on that team. I wouldn't be shocked if they had a decent A National. I mean, they play Ribs on Friday night. If they have a full squad, they've got some kids that can play. Their shortstop's a really good player.
Yeah.
And then, they've got my guy Sonny, who's a close family friend of mine, who he hit a ball over my center fielder's head. Bad route. Neither here nor there. But it's good to see those young kids. Like we were talking about, Jim, is the major level going to be dead in 10 years? When I see stuff like that, when I see kids that want to play and they enter the tournament and they went out and played their 2 games and they had a good time.
Yeah.
But that's
what do you think? What do you think since this name and the phrase I'm going to say money line wasn't in Signature's, I guess you want to say, right state of mind this weekend? What was the money line when you played the Grave Diggers? Because I didn't get that odds on that game.
Money line. I would say the money line in the Signature. Yeah, he's gonna love that.
And by the way, if Jeff didn't get hurt this year, he also would have been on Team Jagoff in Iowa this year. Jeff was coming to Iowa.
Yeah.
So
the money line was probably minus 200,000, and that's not disrespectful to them. We had a team out there that was ready to win that game. That's not anything to do with the Grave Diggers. We were going to get that one. That was a fun team to play against. But what was what else do you have for my man Jeff here in the middle?
Just before we let him go, I mean, I've got my last question. I asked him on Saturday at the bar, and so I want to kind of elaborate a little bit on what that was about. I don't know if Jeff even remembers me asking him because we were a couple cocktails deep. But do you have any questions, Donnie, before I get to that?
No, all good. I kind of touched on everything I wanted to.
Perfect. So, Jeff, we talked about your incredible weekend, obviously hitting the ball over the place in the Melrose tournament. We talked about your good-looking teammates. We've talked about what bothers you about the game of softball. But one thing that you did mention for the question that I ask every guest, what would you change about softball to make it better? You mentioned commitment, but I think you mentioned commitment in a different way. Why don't you talk a little bit about what you meant when you meant commitment for the game? I think you meant it more for tournaments, more for other things, not necessarily just the players to show up to the game. So why don't you kind of elaborate a little bit about what you meant about that, or how you took that?
Yeah, I think like some of these teams and players, they come to these tournaments without like their full squad for whatever reason, and it might be because people can't show up, but it's stuff like they might do something, go hang out at the bar or some of that instead of play, and I think that's crazy. Like if you're committing to a team like this, you should be there no matter what. Unless, I mean, there's other things that happen. You know, obviously everyone can't always be there, but I'm going to show up every single game. I want my team to be there every single game too. And I know like I'm young, so I don't have kids and stuff like that, so that makes a difference. But things like little things you shouldn't be skipping softball for if you're going to want to play at a major level.
And so Donnie, why I thought this was important, obviously, because this is somebody in your age group that we talk about, that some of the younger kids don't have the commitment level that some of the older players of today's generation does, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it's important that we talk about this, because I think people, and to this point, yes, maybe he doesn't have kids and he doesn't, doesn't have some of the priorities maybe yet as some of the 35 and 40-year-old people do in the game. But I think it's important because in order for softball to grow, we have to have these younger kids understand that commitment is definitely a key to not only you guys getting better as players, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're still working on your swing, Donnie, and doing a bunch of stuff, right? But also just becoming better people too. I think that matters, right? I think commitment and something you commit to matters in life. Like, we talk about things like that all the time, and how that sports relates to real life. And if you really think about it, commitment is probably the number one thing in what you do every day. You're committed to your job, you're committed to your wife, you're committed to your family, girlfriend, and we know Jeff's looking for a girlfriend, ladies. So things like that, right, Donnie? I mean, you're looking to get married.
Yeah.
I think it's important. What's your point of view on that? Because you're kind of near Jeff's age a little bit.
Yeah. Jeff, you hit it on the head. However, you grew up in a little different household where softball was really important.
Yeah.
Some kids aren't exposed to that. Like, it's just not, hey, I'm going to go drink it with my friends instead of going to this tournament game. And some of these kids have all the talent to be good. You're, in my opinion, blessed to see a great side of the game from a young age that makes you exposed to how great this game can be. And now you've seen it with winning tournaments and being part of a great team. The age that we are at doesn't have the same commitment level because there's so many external things that every time I talk, you bring out this juice box. I'm getting into something deep here, and here you are. The age, the age group that I'm in, it just doesn't see softball first, if that makes sense, right? I'm gonna go out and do what I want to do, and if I have time to make a game, I'll be at the game. Or if I have if I have a league game that's more fun, I'm gonna miss a tournament game. When that would never happen, probably 10 years ago, 15 years ago, never. And I wish that, I'm lucky. I mean, Signature, we have a pretty good turnout, but we've been short guys here and there. I know 45s for, you guys were missing a couple guys over the weekend too. Flash had 9 guys by the end of the weekend, which is why they decided not to play. The top teams are struggling with commitment. So I think come No Glove, you'll see all these teams at full strength, which is when softball will be at its best. Jeff, you agree with that?
I totally agree. Yeah.
So what do you think kids your age today, how do we get them to just want to play 16-inch softball more, right? I mean,
it's what's coming up this weekend. It's A Nationals, it's B Nationals. Playing in those lower level tournaments where you can be exposed to, oh, this is pretty fun. When I take it serious like this, This is pretty darn fun. When I'm around a good group of guys that I think can get better, if this kid develops in this way or this guy develops in this way, this team can be really good, and that's cool to see.
I think he went
Dark.
Yeah, he went lost on us.
He was in his backyard, and now he's somebody kill our guy Jeff.
I don't know. Did someone take him away?
Yeah, someone take him away.
Not really sure. I don't know what happened there, but he is. Let's see if we can still hear him. He's still. Jeff, can you hear us?
He's gone. His phone died. I bet his phone died.
Probably. But either way, we were towards the end with Jeff, so
yeah,
we want to say thank you to Jeff Mustari. Obviously, we wanted to leave it. Maybe he hops back on. We wanted to hand it over to him about questions. Drew just said I got him. He just took him away. So I want people. So while we're on the show right now, and before we get into some of our topics, we're going to talk about the A No Globe Nationals. We're going to talk about a couple different things. Let's see if he's here. Jeff, can you hear us? Jeff.
Goner.
So
we lost him.
We're going to talk about the A Nationals. We're going to talk about this weekend, the major thing that you brought up earlier in the show with Flash forfeiting out in the final three. Yeah. I have been not all over, but I've been asking questions to Will, right? They played the money line game. I get it. It was 100 plus degrees, right? We all know that. 100 plus degrees. Things were crazy. I get it. I totally do. I get it. But, they came back in the seventh inning against Moneyline with 2 outs down 3. I believe they take the lead.
Dispenza hit a 3-run homer with 2 outs in the 7th to tie the game.
Yeah. Was it Iggy or was it Dispenza? I don't.
Dispenza, either way. Dispenza hit a homer to right center.
So, obviously, fantastic. But they had 10 guys in that game. Who were they losing? Because I still can't get an answer. Who were they losing from that game that they went down to 9 guys? Because you mentioned 9 guys.
I think Mike Meyer got injured, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know if he was able to go any longer.
So
that's what I
they had 9 guys, and
yeah,
but they had Jibs, they had Moji.
Yeah, 9 or 10 guys, and William was there too. So I think they might have had 10 guys total with William, with Mike Meyer going down. I think he hurt something or hurt his leg in that either the money line game or the game before. But what's your take on that? Meyer. Oh, I just got a text message from Mr. Chris Rieger. Mike Meyer pulled a hammy. Meyer popped a hamstring, and Iggy was throwing up.
Ah, gotcha. So totally makes sense. Real quick, Jeff. We wanted to ask you if you have any questions for cousin Donnie and myself.
Jimmy, I got one question for you. Hold on.
All right. You went black on me too, man. You guys are all having trouble tonight. Mine's no problem. It's amazing.
Can you see me?
I can see you.
All right. My dad wants to know if the pitcher last night threw a wicked curveball for strike 3.
Tell him it was a wicked knuckleball after the umpire says time and then says strike. How does Donnie? I struck out looking last night. You've been proud of me.
Yeah.
Did you get thrown out?
No, the umpire called time. Okay. And then he pitches the ball and it lands strike. I don't understand it.
That's got to be a first. That's got to be a first.
Angelo threw a knuckleball. He said, "Yes, I think it was a knuckleball." But yeah, it was insane. So pretty cool night. Won't be the last time I strike out. I take it like a man. Tell your father, okay?
All right.
And I want you to ask your father. He tells me that he never made errors. I found a clip from the early 90s of him making 3 and 4 errors in a game. So we're gonna have to have a little conversation about that. All right.
All right.
Gio did some digging for me.
Wow.
So, but Jeff, any other questions besides Uncle Jimmy striking out? Looking, by the way.
How do you like being a 45 now?
a good question. So I told Izzy this last night. The first month, I felt like, man, I don't know if this is what was for, right? Like, I think guys we were all a little tight. I think we were new. There was a bunch of new guys on the team. I just felt like it wasn't gelling early on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think guys were unsure of what our roles were. And I felt like the last month, I think we've really gelled as a group. Guys have been going to the bar. We've been hanging out at the field after games. And I mean, and I'm not just talking one or two guys, because the MO that I heard coming to the 45s is that these guys don't go out. They don't do anything after games. And that has been the complete opposite in the last month since I've been there, forcing guys to go out. And even if it's just us hanging out at the park, I mean, Izzy, myself, and Kelly last night sat at Forest Park till almost 2 a.m., 1:30 in the morning talking.
Jeez.
Just like certain things like that. I mean, how many guys did we have last Thursday? Our whole team was there. I mean, last Tuesday we had 10 guys at the bar. Like that. I mean, it's really cool to see, and I think that does have success for us as a group, because guys feel comfortable. I know I feel a lot more comfortable than I did early on in the year, both pitching and hitting. I know Marola says the same thing. Marola kind of knows what his role is now and what he's been doing on this team, and he's been doing an incredible job. So I feel like guys are just starting to fill in, right? And I think it shows, because this weekend, to Donnie's point, we were missing people. I mean, we were potentially missing our 2, 3, and 4, our 3 and 4 hitters for the most part, with Scotty and Vince. And, we stepped up, and I don't know, there might be a new 4-5 in town with me and you. You never know, right? So
there you go.
But yeah, I mean, it's just it's been awesome, dude. So it's been really cool to see. So thank you. It's been a good question, and I think a lot of the guys, we have a lot of fun, man. There's a lot of laughs going on. You know, a lot of ball busting, and it's been really good. So, but thank you. Any questions for Donnie with his hair?
What's wrong with my hair?
Well, I mean,
Donnie, what's going on?
So Jeff, he had a haircut recently, and he had a video, and I'm trying to get my hands on this video. So
are you trying to get it from
Joel? Let's see it.
Yeah, I haven't got it yet. I'm going to try to get the video. The SSA, unfortunately, won't play the video, from my understanding.
It's a really good video. It's a great interview.
Yeah. So, but hey, all is said, right? But hey, Jeff, I appreciate it. Congratulations, man. Incredible teammate, incredible weekend. It's the first of many for us, my man.
Oh, yeah.
Donnie don't want to hear that, but sorry, Donnie.
You got it, guys. Enjoy it.
Thank you, guys.
Enjoy it. It's fun to win tournaments. Enjoy that. Jeff, thank you as always for coming on the show.
Give a kiss to your mother. Good night from Uncle Jimmy, all right?
All right.
She'll laugh.
Sounds good.
All right, buddy.
See ya. Thank you.
I had to throw that in there. So
perfect.
His parents are the most incredible people.
They're super cool.
Yeah, they're really cool. They come to the games. His dad's a huge ball buster. The mom's the most nicest, probably the nicest, one of the nicest people you ever met, So it's really cool. And, he's a really good, mellow-headed kid. Quiet at times, but he's starting to come out of his shell a little bit, which is what I like to see, right?
Yeah, he's a super, super cool kid. I enjoy talking to him outside of softball just as much as I do, talking to him during games. And him and I, like you kind of mentioned, similar ages playing at the major level. We kind of have an understanding about that, and I like that a lot. So it was cool of him to hop on the show for as long as he did. I would say let's jump right in. What'd you say?
Even through your mic issues.
Yeah, that was wild, and I'm kind of disappointed about that. But why don't we, before these mic issues come up, why don't we get through A Nationals? I got to give one shout out quick, Jim. Chrissy Eberhardt did message us. The first tournament win of the season in the women's 16-inch game goes to Chrissy Eberhardt and her squad. So congrats on the opening season W for their team. I'm pumped for her. She takes a lot of pride in the women's game. So want to give those ladies a shout out for this weekend's success as well.
Yeah, we talk to Christine a lot or see her around
Yep.
the field a lot. I know she's always trying to support the women's game. Obviously, we're doing our part. We're trying to get the Iowa guys to bring an extra team in. Hopefully, more women's teams. I know there's how many teams on the south side for the YME tournament. That's usually the same day as the Dana Strong tournament. I wish I could work something out with that. I know that the YME's been doing it for years, but both charities are incredible. Both things are awesome. I just want more of those teams to go play major nationals, even if it is something that is, getting it to 10 teams, getting it to 15 teams. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a cool thing for them. And I think as that game grows, so will our game. It helps the men's game too, if you really think about it.
Agreed.
So,
Just kind of exposing the game as much as we can.
all right. So before we get to the nationals, we were talking about the flash and the forfeiting.
Yeah.
And them, obviously I don't recall it ever being done before at a major tournament. I've seen it done. I mean, don't forget, this is probably the first tournament in a long time that was probably 100 degrees and humid.
Yeah.
That I remember. I don't remember a major tournament being that warm here other than Yuma, right? So, it sucks. I didn't know about Mikey Meyer pulling his hamstring. That really sucked.
And Iggy was really, really sick during those games as well.
Yeah, Iggy was sick.
Yeah.
We're not making excuses for those guys, but I'm sure they're tough. They're battled. And, they're short. So, they were short players, and they made a decision as a group. So, Will tells me, what don't I understand? I don't understand how you forfeit, but tell you what you were saying, it makes sense though, right? Now, you know what I mean?
Mm.
As competitors, you never want to forfeit, I don't think. So
Right.
That's something but cool. Want to look at the one other topic, and I want to bring this topic up. The topic of, he brought up leagues, right? But the topic of the tournament this weekend, okay? You heard, as well as I heard, what was going around the park about why BTA did not play in the tournament. Did you hear? So BTA dropped out of the tournament because of the way the draw was run, and it wasn't live streamed. Obviously, people calling it the Circus Invitational. I get what people say. I think it's more jokes than seriousness, right? I don't know why BTA. I haven't talked to Tony Ward. I haven't talked to, I only talked to Little Dave, and Little Dave had mentioned that Tony and some of the guys and his coaches weren't happy about how that tournament draw was handled.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it was handled. I was told that there wasn't a video of the draw. Even if they didn't live stream it, they should have still recorded it. That would have been my thing. But either way, Donnie, what was your opinion on that subject? Because I know that was something that was going around the park pretty much all weekend for the guys that actually stayed out there during some of the breaks.
Yeah. So that seemed to be kind of the controversial thing before the tournament started. And to do it like Wednesday, when the games were starting Thursday, was difficult. Probably for the people that were running the tournament, you got to take into consideration, should we, redo the brackets? But no, they just kind of left them, and they ended up being forfeits. It's unfortunate to see, for sure, the teams dropping out. But why was there no live draw? Did you ever get an answer about that, Jim? Did you happen to ask anybody about that? I've never seen where there's no draw or recorded video of the draw. What did you get out of that?
First, we have a podcast. We do our thing.
Yeah.
It's not to insult anybody.
Right.
Okay,
right.
That's not about. We are talking about the topics of softball. That's
Correct.
why people watch our show. Some of the topics are not going to be easy to discuss. Other topics are going to be super easy to discuss, but I don't know why. I didn't ask anybody why it wasn't live streamed. I heard through the rumblings that someone asked Tyler. Tyler said it wasn't. He wasn't sure why it wasn't live streamed. But I didn't physically ask Tyler, and I saw Tyler all weekend, which he was out there all weekend, and I didn't even ask him. I mean, we were playing when I saw him most of the time, so it was just something that didn't really cross my mind at that time. But I'm sure if I talked to Tyler, he would tell me, what he believes is the answer.
Also, I know from an understanding of talking to Chris Rogers, and I think I talked to Lil Dave, Tony Ward, they were going to be short as well. They were not going to have their full team out there, and to kind of commit to that, especially after not being too happy about the draw, maybe not convincing for guys to be all in on the tournament, if that makes sense, not to be bought in. Not saying that they wouldn't be, but not too much motivation with an upset, front office essentially, right? Front office coaching staff about the draw, and then to go out there with not a full team, maybe not be your best product going forward.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I get it. Kind of to Mustari's point, right? Commitment. You got to have commitment. I think someone early in the chat made a comment about it's the same 5 weekends every year.
True.
If you're playing major softball, you know exactly what the weekends are next year. I know stuff happens year to year, but those are the 5 weekends that I feel that our guys need to be more, right?
True.
And so, not to say we're planning things around it, but in my household, my wife will tell you she's not necessarily happy, but we plan around those weekends.
Yeah,
okay?
I do the same thing. We do the same thing in our house. That's the thing. This is a commitment. When you make the commitment, it's these 5 weekends. Here's what we're doing.
Yep. So, I think enough said about that.
Yeah.
Let's get into, and also really quick, guys. I know we have a ton of people watching right now live. If there's anything that you want to drop in the chat that you want to hear us talk about or get our opinions on, please drop it in the chat now. As we're going through the A Nationals, we're going to go through the odds for opening round games, and then we're also going to give the money line on the winner of the tournament. So, Donnie?
Yeah.
Go right ahead, my man.
Joel just made a comment. Funny. Meatball City is still sitting at Melrose Park, in case you were wondering. Those guys played the opening game against Circus at 10 a.m., and then we played them at 8 p.m., and they were out there the whole time. Because they had a game in between the two with Impact.
That is a good topic. So
we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Let's get into the A.
Let's park that for a minute. But that is a good topic. We'll get back to that. Go ahead. What is the first tournament? First game?
Ooh. Gravediggers and Ribs, 7:30 Friday. That's at the top of the bracket.
Ooh. I don't know much about the Ribs.
Oh, I got this.
Go ahead. Give me your advice.
So listen to this. So the Gravediggers put up one heck of a fight against High Y at Midsummer. They're already in tournament ball form. I think the Gravediggers take this one. It's probably a 2.5 run game. Ribs are the young kids from Forest Park that work on the fields and then play in their A-League. I think Gravediggers, 2.5 run favorites, but that could be a scrappy game at 7:30 p.m. on Friday.
All right. So we got Gravediggers minus 2.5 against Ribs. We have the Gravediggers, the money line to win the tournament. We're going to put the Gravediggers at 200 to 1.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna put the Ribs at 250 to 1.
Yeah, that's about right. And you've got 40 Deuce and Born Divine.
So 40 Deuce and Born Divine. So I know 40 Deuce pretty well.
Yep.
I don't know Born Divine that well. I've seen them in the past, obviously. I don't know their team that well.
Yep, Born Divine is a team out of Washington Park. I would say 40 Deuce is probably the favorite in this game.
Yes, I was going to say 40 Deuce minus 3.5.
Good.
Okay. I'm going to say 40 Deuce is 150 to 1 to win the tournament, Born Divine is 200-1 to win the tournament.
Okay. They play into the Diesels.
Ooh, Diesels. I like the Diesels. The Diesels is a nice Northside team. That's our boy that runs the Terry Moran tournament. Pat Moran.
Yeah.
So I will put the Diesels in that matchup minus our boys, the Diesels, minus 2.5 against the 40 Deuce.
Okay.
Diesels 125-1 to win the tournament.
All right. I'm going to take 40 Deuce in an upset in that game, by the way. Let's go to Menace and High Moons, a team that I don't know. And I was asked, hey, do you know these guys? No one seems to know who the High Moons are. I'm curious to see how they do in their A National debut. What's Menace and High Moon line?
I got to say, I don't know the High Noon, so it's tough to put a line on a team you don't know. But since I don't know them, that's an easy -5 runs.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Menace minus 6.5.
Okay.
Okay. Menace, I'm going to put Menace at 50-1 to win the A National. Okay. So 50-1 to win the A National. High Moons, it's tough to put anything on High Moons. Don't know. So we'll just go with 250-1, which if you get a steal there and they win the tournament, hey man, put your money where, right? 250.
You're a rich man. You're a rich man.
You're a rich man. Go right ahead. Next one.
The winner of that game plays into Splash.
Ooh, Splash. Our boy Splash tonight lost.
They did.
To the 40 Deuce.
5-0.
But Menace and Splash, I gotta think that's probably. Oh, you know what? By the way, Mickey Balestri says he does not like when we call pick'em games.
No, he doesn't like anything though, so you can't take anything like that personally.
Yeah, good point. Splash versus Menace. That's a tight one. I know that Menace has been playing not up to their level so far this year, I feel. But at the A National, they play with confidence. I think they got some players, Roach and Matt and Cree, and hopefully best wishes to Cree. I don't know if you heard. He passed out on the sidelines.
I know.
So hopefully, if anyone can get a report on Cree.
He's doing better. I saw him Monday. He's doing better.
Okay. I'm going to go in this game. I'm going to go with Menace minus 1.5 against our boy Marky Robinson, the Splash team. I think Menace is, someone just put their 5-1 in the Forest Park League so far in the A League. Menace is a team that, like I said, they've always competed at every tournament, and that's what I like about them. They're not afraid to play the tough teams.
Cody Sopko, any opinion on the Splash team for A Nationals? Would like to hear what you have to say about the Splash team heading into this weekend. Cody Sopko, if you're in the chat, let me know. And then we've got Oboes. Or do you want to give me the odds? Sorry.
Let me give you the money line on the Splash. 75-1 money line to win the tournament. Splash. In the Menace game, I'm going to put Menace -1 in the hook. All right?
Okay.
Go right ahead.
Okay, we've got Oboes and Los Lobos in round 1.
So Oboes is a team from Washington Park, correct?
Yep. That's like some of the Solution guys, if I'm not mistaken, some of the older Solution guys?
Correct. They have a good team. They did. They had a good team. Dude, you know Los Lobos comes with some firepower.
Listen to me. Jim, I'm going to make a claim right now while I can.
Yeah.
Los Lobos is going to make a run in this tournament. And I'm not talking about win a game or two as an unknown team from Iowa. They're going to do something in this tournament.
Is Los Lobos, hopefully, any of the Iowa guys in the chat right now, put in there, does Los Lobos going to have their full team for the A National?
I already looked into this. They do. And I think they're bringing some firepower, too, from that Iowa 12-inch scene.
Okay. So if that's the case, I'm going to say Los Lobos Never playing.
Over.
Well, some of the team has played with hands. So
Yeah.
I'm going to say Los Lobos minus 5.5
Perfect.
against
Obos.
Lobos. To me, I think Los Lobos is a top 3 favorite to win this tournament.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that being said, I got to put them at 5-1.
Drew said open roster. He'll be there. So the Los Lobos over the Obos. That's fun. Then you've got go ahead.
I have Los Lobos 5-1 to win the tournament. So that means if you put $5 down, Donnie, you can win how much?
It's 5-1, that's a $25 win.
Yes, that a boy, Donnie. That a boy. So, all right. Obos.
Ooh.
I'm going to put Obos. I like the Obos team. I think
Tough draw.
that's kind of a tough draw because those guys they know how to hit Obos, right? I think they have a leadoff hitter on that team that's pretty good. So I'm going to go 100-1 on Obos to win the tournament.
Just got a word in the chat that the Ribs beat Menace tonight at Forest Park.
Nice.
It's a good win for the Ribs. Maybe my Gravesdiggers pick isn't looking so good. Then you've got Future and the Goons Friday at 8:30.
Future and the Goons. The Goons.
I know the Goons. Do you want me to do this one?
I know Future very well.
Yeah.
Future is also a team that I have finishing in the top 3 of this tournament.
Easily, yeah. I think they're a team that could get the job done. The Goons are a team out of Oak Lawn with my guy Nick McLawhorn, and then they've got the Quinlans with Declan and Gavin. Talented young team. Future's a tough draw for the Goons, so be curious to see if they hang on. And the Ribs beat Goodwood too. What a night for the Ribs! My Gravediggers pick is not looking too hot after those 2 wins for the Ribs. Future should cover against the Goons. What do you got that line at?
Well, I know Future
Yeah.
very well. Their center fielder's a stud.
Joey Kutnick?
Yes, Jake. I know we play the Goons in the fall league in Oak Lawn. Yes, I know. I've got Future at probably 5.5, and that might be low.
The Ribs are first place in Forest Park after tonight. Damn, the Ribs are playing some softball, Jimbo.
Dude,
Alex
250-1 to win the tourney.
Alex Hovey says Los Lobos will not have a full roster, but we will have a good roster. And Jim, if you remember, their good roster hit the ball pretty hard against us in Marshalltown, so they're going to be all right.
Goons, I'm going to put at 200-1, the money line, 200-1 to win the tournament.
Okay.
God, I just love that name, money line.
Are we almost done with this? Are we almost done with this shit? Jim, you almost there? You still there, Jim?
I'm still here, buddy. I'm still here. I'm waiting for the next game.
Okay. Wolfpack. The winner of Future and Goons into Wolfpack.
So our boy Nick just said, if the Ribs win it, it's dinner on me at Freddy's. That is a deal. The Ribs win this tournament, I will buy the Ribs team dinner at Freddy's in Cicero. Mike, Peckus just said, our boy Skittle said that the umpire did call time and then said strike. So it's great. It's awesome. Thank you, Peckus, for saying that because you were catching, so you heard the same thing I heard. What is the next game, Donnie?
Future Goons into Wolfpack. Did you comment on that one already?
Future Goons into Wolfpack. So Wolfpack, I did not. Wolfpack's actually a good team. But I got Future there minus 4.5. I got the Wolfpack at 100-1 to win the tournament.
Okay.
Next.
This will be a fun game. The Shockers, which is Hooch, Jeff Thielsen's squad, playing against 10 deep in the first round, and the winner plays into Goodwood.
Wow, that's a tough draw. 10 deep.
Yeah, it's a good team. The Shockers have a couple good players on that team.
Is that Hooch?
Yes.
Who's on Hooch's team?
Chaz Nevitt and TR. I know TR is on that team as well. They've got some really good players on that Shockers team.
Is that a lot of the FLT guys?
Yeah, I believe he might have a couple of those.
Okay. And they're playing 10 deep?
Yep.
I love Hooch, but I got 10 deep minus 3.5.
Okay. And then the Goodwood.
10 deep, by the way, is the team that I picked to win a tournament. My boys from 10 deep. My boy Randy Nelson, he came through for Uncle Jimmy.
Yep.
So Shockers, 100-1 to win the tournament. Our boys from 10 deep. I'm going to go probably 25-1 on 10 deep to win the tournament.
Oh, Jake Zeman pitches for the Shockers too. That'll be good.
All right, Goodwood.
Yep.
Oh, Jake Zeman. So I got the line 3. So with the line just went to 4.5 on the 10 deep team. I had 3.5, now went to 4.5 with our boy Jack Zeman pitching.
Jake Zeman's going to give them extra run.
That was a line move right there, live. So, no, I'm just kidding. No, 3.5 for 10 deep.
Okay.
Goodwood versus 10 deep. Ooh, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. God, Donnie, that's tough. Why don't you give that line?
Okay.
I like both teams.
Both teams do enjoy both teams. I would say 10 deep.
Goodwood's got to have their full. They got to have their full squad, right? You have to.
For this tournament, you would think Goodwood is their full team. I would say they're a 1.5 run favorite over 10 deep right now, I think.
Okay. What are we putting Goodwood? I have Goodwood as one of my top 3 teams to win this tournament. And I've got Goodwood at 6-1.
Okay. You want to keep going?
Yes.
Okay, we've got Bankroll and the West Side Outlaws.
Bankroll. I don't know who Bankroll is.
Yeah, you do.
I just had to say that because that's our boy Maddie.
Mickey Bradle.
Yeah, Mr. Bradle, Uncle Dave.
Legends.
Our boy Uncle Dave. I mean, Bankroll, West Side Outlaws. I think Bankroll handles them pretty easily, I would think. Yep. I got to think 6.5 for Bankroll.
Okay.
I've got Bankroll at 40-1 to win the tournament. I've got West Side Outlaws at about 200-1 to win the tournament.
Okay. And then you've got into Los Borrachos.
Now, Los Borrachos, the LBSC.
Yep.
The winner of that, I got Los Borrachos minus 2.5 against Bankroll. I've got Los Borrachos also at 20-1 to win the tournament, and they finished second last year, I believe, in this tournament, didn't they?
They did. Yep.
You got great money on Los Borrachos right now to win this tournament. I just think that bottom half of that bracket, when you look at 10 deep, Goodwood, Bankroll, Los Borrachos, they're going to have to play some good teams this year. I don't know who they played last year, but they're going to play. That's a tough draw for an A tournament.
Yep.
I'm also I got to think that Future's on that too, right?
Yep. Future's I'd like to see Future do well. They're definitely a team to look out for in this tournament for sure. Jack Harrigan says, "Does winner have to go major?" And the answer is yes.
Yes. I think honestly, Robbie says that West Side Outlaws has some major players like T-Rex and Durrell. So I mean, West Side Outlaws will be better, right? Then, so that's could be a better line. I still think Bankroll rolls.
I think Bankroll's a favorite.
Yeah, 100%. Who do you have winning the tournament?
There's one more game.
Was it? Go ahead.
Savage and Traffic is the last game.
Oh, our boys, Savage. Our boys. So Savage, we have my nephew Brett, my nephew Stretch.
Okay.
We have Mr. No Hitter Bobby Ronald.
Good team.
Okay. We have our boy Tom Gutierrez. We have the Cope brothers. They are a team that, man, is that bottom bracket loaded, huh?
That's a tough side of the bracket. Yeah, that bottom half is good.
Where does the bottom cut off at? Does it cut off at Future?
Yeah, that it starts with Future up there. Yeah.
So I mean, Savage is going to have to roll through Los
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I'm getting some breaking news, Jim.
What?
You ready for this?
Yeah.
I will not cite my source, but I just got a text message that says Savage dropped out of the tournament.
Really?
Yeah.
They're not here.
Coming through. Savage dropped out.
I wonder why they dropped. Oh yeah, I just got the same message.
Maybe from the same human?
Yeah. Starts with a P.
Yeah, starts with a P. Yeah. Yeah. Does it end with another letter?
Yes.
Okay.
So Savage drops out of the tournament. Wow. Huh?
Well, there you go.
And then,
breaking news on the Uncle Jimmy Cousin Donnie show. Savage out. Dropped out.
So I'm gonna put Savage's odds to win the tournament at 1,000,000 to 1.
Yes. Traffic just won the first game.
Yeah. They might come back and come out of the loser's bracket.
Yeah.
So
they might.
I will predict that Traffic wins their first game 7-0 in this tournament.
Friday at 7:30, we can guarantee Traffic a 7-0 win. Hello, Steve-O.
Wow. All right, so Traffic.
But why? But why though? Why do you think it has something to do with Papa Hops?
I think it has to do with probably the roster, and if I had to guess, probably Bobby Ronald and some of the guys that have played the A National for the last several years, and they finished second a couple times. I think that was the glove though.
Yeah.
And I think that has probably, if I had a guess, that has something to do with it, that the SSA probably told them no, right? I mean, that's the only thing I could think of, is that they handed in a roster and they said that they're major. I don't see, because I would say Drew Ladick just says, wait, Stretch is an A player? Yeah, Stretch is an A player. He hasn't played major in God knows how long. I don't know what else to say. I mean, that could be the only thing I can think of. That they handed in a roster and they told them no. And
well, how'd they even make the bracket then?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. I mean, the Cope brothers, you have, because that team is, they have some of those crush kids.
Oh, that team was one of the favorites to win the tournament by far.
Yeah. No, yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, I agree. I as soon as we're done here tonight, I'm probably going to have to reach out to one of the guys and find out why they dropped out.
I'm going to say get on the phone right now. Well, you were asking me a question before the last game. Who do you have winning the tournament? I'm going to say, so Matty Doden says Savage was voted A. Why did they drop out of the tournament?
Huh.
Should be like breaking news across the top. Breaking news. Savage drops out of A. No shooters. No John Zawoski. Not allowed.
Right.
I'm going to go with Future to win the tournament.
You are live on our show right now, Mr. Bobby Ronald. Why did Savage drop out of the A National?
Put it on speaker.
Bobby, can you repeat that?
Hold on 1 second. I'm at work. I got to walk away for a second. Yeah, we had a couple of the kids from Pac-Man and all these other, all the young kids from Kennedy Park, and I think it just didn't work out. Chigas and 2 other guys had to coach baseball, and we were so short, and made a couple calls and tried.
Well, we appreciate that. We just broke the news to the softball world on the podcast. So, Mr. Bobby Ronald, thank you, sir. Go back to your job, buddy.
Hi, Bobby.
We appreciate you. Thank you. Bye. So Bobby Ronald, look at that. Answers the phone, 11 o'clock at night. Breaking news. Savage drops out of the A National. And I put it on the bottom of the screen for you, Donnie.
What'd you put at the bottom? Breaking news. It drops out of A National. That's great. Well done.
So yeah, that's crazy. That's a shock to me. Because I know how much Tom Gutierrez likes this tournament. I know how much those guys like to play. So I wonder if they're going to jump on with Splash.
Wow. Shocking. What a night. What a night of softball, chat. Unreal.
So, Donnie,
Hey.
we're on the final topic. We had a lot of issues tonight with technology, so
Yes,
it ate up a lot of our time. So really, we're nowhere near an hour. But last week, on last week's show, I asked you a question about the game of 16 in softball and the state and stuff that it was in. You had an answer for me that I was not expecting you to say on the show. So I fielded this week. I mean, it had to be 10 to 15 plus calls about the game of 16 in softball, about what you brought up. I don't know how it was on your end. Was it the same on your end?
Yeah, definitely.
What were people asking you? What were people saying?
You know what? Unfortunately, a lot of people were thinking that this tournament didn't live up to the hype as it could. With teams dropping out and no one there on Sunday to watch. Jimmy, I think you sent me a video of the stands behind both benches of the championship game, and there was like a tumbleweed on one of them. Nobody was there to watch, right? If I'm not mistaken.
No. I mean, correct. I mean, it was 100. It was.
I know that it's hot, and this isn't to take anything away from your championship. I promise that. It just didn't seem as if people were invested as much, which is unfortunate. I mean, I know it was hot as heck, which could play a huge part into that. People still go out and watch it, from what I've seen. I did have a lot of comments about, well, how can we grow and how can we mend a relationship? And I don't friggin' know. I really want everybody to get along.
Well, I'm going to break some news.
Okay.
All right. I had a lot of talking in this past week, and I think it's fair that we discuss what I've talked to. I've talked to a lot of guys that former players, people who are on the SSA, people who play the game right now, coaches, some of the best players in the game, yourself, guys like CJ, Nate Mercado, Sal. I can sit here and name 15 guys that I spoke to in the last week. Okay. I am at the end of this year, the day after Labor Day, I am going to call 10 guys in softball. So half are going to be players. The other half are going to be part of the SSA board. Okay. And what I'm going to do, because I'm committed to the sport, and so are you, you're going to join me. We're going to have a committee that I feel we're going to put together, whether the SSA likes it or not. I think they will, because I think the guys that I have in mind will be open-minded about discussing changes about improving softball. And what I mean by improving, I'm not saying change every single thing that we do, because there's a lot of good in what we do. But the players are starting to speak more and more, Donnie.
Sure.
You know, you hear it, okay? Changes to formats, changes to tournaments, changes to different things, right? New locations. You know, the urgency, the excitement is, to your point, it's just not as much as what it was in years past. And I just won a tournament, and I feel it was great, right? It was awesome. But to your point, did it feel like a major event in certain aspects? Some aspects I would say no. Other aspects, of course, I would say yeah, because we won the tournament. It was exciting. Still played some of the best teams. But overall, we need some new ideas. And I think having these 10 people and then nominating one president as the 11th person. And the reason why we do that is that you vote on truly ideas that are at the table, both players, SSA board members, managers. I spoke with Jibbs over this last week, and I think Jibbs will agree with me, and he wants to see changes too. Remember last week on the show, Donnie, we discussed about how some of the major teams are run by the old school players, the guys that were diehards.
Yep.
And we have all respect for them. We know that,
Yep.
right? The Bobby Russes, the Jibbs, the Izzy Sanchez's,
Sal.
the Mendoza. I mean, you name it, Sal's. All the guys that run major teams, JD, like, you know, all those guys. Of course, we're going to have some of them part of that 10 guys. Now, who's going to decide those 10 guys? That's a great question, right? I haven't figured that part out yet. But I think, Donnie, I know they have a board now, but you and I both know that that board doesn't work, okay? That board is one-sided. It is. Say what you want. It's one-sided, dude. It's been that way. So I think this will not only take the pressure off of what SSA does, and we support the SSA, we move forward as one. That's the meaning behind this, okay? That's what we're going to do. And we're going to see. I mean, what's the worst they're going to tell us? No?
The same thing they tell us now.
Exactly. But if we have the support of the teams, the coaches, the players, the announcers like Adam Cumby, I mean, think about this, right? I think we have roles in softball, and that's what it should be. You know,
You got me motivated right now, man. I want to run through a wall right now.
But think about it, right? When you think about the time, the effort, all the stuff that we do. I know Drew's putting out it won't happen. I think it will happen. I do. And the reason why I tell you is the number one guy that I'm going to approach at the SSA is Francisco. And I want him to be one of the representatives from the SSA. Okay? Francisco does a lot of good for the game.
He does.
Right? He does. Patty Caputo, another guy. People say what you want. I get it. He might be stepping away or whatever he's doing. I fully believe he puts a lot of time, a lot of effort into the game. Okay? You know, those are two guys I'm telling you right now that are going to get asked. I already told Patty the day after Labor Day I'm kidnapping him. Seriously. So the day after Labor Day, which is a Tuesday night, I'm going to invite these 10 people, and those 10 people are going to vote on a president. The SSA can still have their board. They can still do what they want, but you're going to have players saying what actually goes on. You're going to have 4 or 5 players, a couple managers, whatever it may be. What do you think about that, Donnie?
This is new for me. I haven't heard this yet. This is exciting, and I have a great comment that says it's like a players' association, which all major sports have. This is pretty cool. I'm really excited to be a part of it. I honestly, excited to see who you bring into and who you ask to be a part of it.
Yeah. So
I'm excited about this.
I think it'll work, and this is why I think it works, because now you have player support. You have could be some of the best players in the game.
Yeah.
Okay. It could be some of the guys at the A level. Okay. That you don't have to play on a major team to be on this board. Okay. That's what I want you to understand. Like Francisco brings the B level, brings the support and the advice and the experience from what he's been doing over the last several years. Right. There's a lot of good players on the A level that play A softball. There's going to be a guy on that team, on that board, that is from the A level. That's a player. That's a good player. That's been around the game, that understands the game, that's open-minded. And it doesn't always mean that what you and I say is going to go.
Yeah.
It doesn't always mean what the SSA says is going to go, or even the ASA, right? I just think a variety of voices, to someone's point, I think Adam just put that out there. I think that's huge. That brings change. It brings ideas. Not saying that we haven't thought of ideas before, but there's ideas that we talk about that never comes to fruition, never comes to real life. And,
I like it.
People are going to laugh, but Donnie, when I tell you I'm going to do something, what usually happens?
Yeah, you usually do it.
Okay. And we're going to have money behind this. We're going to have things that I think will make us run. And I don't even know what that'll be, but I'm already in my head. August 16th, the Country Fest. I've got a lot of sponsors coming out, Donnie. Okay. You better believe that August 16th sponsors are going to be getting asked about 6-seeded softball. Okay? Mom and Dad Water's already one of them. So I'm just telling you, this is going to happen. And if people support it and we ask the right, and Jibs, I think Jibs is probably going to be one of the individuals I call. So I've given out some names tonight because I think he brings the old school, and he's also been a guy with the new school. Okay. And I think he does care about enhancing what we do. Okay.
I hear you.
So, and if he rejects, there's always other people on the list. But I'm just telling you, I think it makes a difference. And he also is a guy that relates to some of the old school and also relates to some of the new school with some of his players. Your boy Spencer, he brings up great Chris Garrett. I mean, think about it. There's a million guys that we can think of. I'm not, going to throw out a list, but a million guys. What is one name that comes to your mind when you think about something like that is pretty brilliant when it comes to promoting and just thinking of ideas and what we can do to enhance?
Man, what we can do to enhance is a really good thing to think about. Who can we use to enhance this committee? Man, I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. I really would like to. I would like to say like a new school guy, someone a little bit younger. That like Joel would be good from Meatball City. Joel's a young manager who is involved with kind of the conversation with some of the SSA stuff. I think that would be a good one. He's a smart dude. He's a good businessman.
Yep.
And he knows a lot of the younger people.
Yeah. Kevin Duff, another great name.
Yeah, that's another one. Well, don't give away all our secrets now.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, that doesn't mean they're on the board. I'm just saying that we have a lot of guys out there that can be asked, that could field this player association, that will then go ahead and pick who we want to work with from the SSA. And what I mean is then we make a president from there. And I, in my thought process is, you could talk about leagues in that board. You could talk about tourneys, formats, certain things to enhance what we do. New locations, okay? Maybe every year we change one or two of the tournament locations. We don't got to change them all, but maybe, like Westchester has been a staple. Melrose, I'm sure Melrose wouldn't mind if we moved the location every couple of years. Joe does a ton of things out there.
Yeah.
Not going to care. And we build in the price to what those fields cost. I know they're going to be a lot of money. We know that. But if the Player Association can do some of the fundraising and some of the things that I'm talking about, that's going to cut some cost. And there's ways to get a nickel here, a nickel there, 500 there, 500 there, and that stuff adds up. So what do you think?
Man, that sounds great. Really. This is exciting stuff, man. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I didn't want to release it this early, but you know what? We have to get it out because I want people to talk about it. We have a month now until our next tournament. So, and then after Forest Park, there's a whole nother month until Major Nationals, right? So this is the part of the year that we're done with 3 tournaments, and now we're going to be discussing how we're going to improve our game. A lot of the fun tournaments are coming up. So, this will be a great time for us to go around the parks and hear kind of what's going out there.
I agree.
Oh, by the way, Staples reached out to me. I want to share this before I forget. Our boy Staples, he is running a tournament. I think I sent it to you, Donnie, didn't I?
Yeah, it's like an A and B tournament. I think you texted it to me.
So, July 5th.
Alex said if there's a couple key umpires who are good for the game, adding that point of view to a group may be good. That's a really good comment too.
Yep.
If there's a couple good umpires, like Joe Monza would be great for that. Joe Monza's been around the game for a long time, very communicative. Mr. Smith is great. Mike is great. Guys that are they communicate during a game, but also have some good opinions on it too. Oscar has been around the game for a long time. Even Brian Panic, who runs the umpires, he's been on our show. He's a great speaker. That's a really good point from Alex there. Thanks, Alex. Appreciate you.
Yeah, and speaking of umpires, no one says we have to stop this board at 10 people, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's the brilliant part. All we have to do is have an odd number, okay? So we can have 13 people on it. With the president, if there's 12 and 12, vote 6 and 6, the president makes the last decision. That's how every board in America is run, okay? But new ideas, new things that actually take action. That's the whole point of this. We have to take action to what we want to do. And we've been talking about this now for 2 years since we've started this show, okay? I think you and I have made some changes. People might not want to believe that, but it's bringing Resmondo, doing certain little things, adding a platform, creating a platform for ourselves.
Yeah,
we've done it, right? But getting back to Staples, he is looking for tournament teams. The tournament is July 5th. It's 1-on-1 count, no glove, no major players, double elimination. The entry fee is $350. He has it? Oh, it's in Oak Lawn Park on the south side. So it's an A and B rosters only tournament. He is looking for a couple teams. So I believe, if I had to guess, he's got 14 or 15 teams right now because he's got a max limit of 18 on the thing. So it's a one-day. So I'm assuming he likes to do the 12 to 14 teams for one day, and it actually works out perfect. So reach out to Dave Padilla, 773-419-7461. So that's our boy Staples. Just wanted to throw that out there for you, Staples. Donnie, I'm going to leave you with the last comments about what we just discussed. I know it blew your socks off a little bit, but what do you think?
I'm loving it, Jim. I'm excited about it. I really am. I think with the right pieces and the right people, the voices have to be heard, right? And the right group of people that have been around the game for a long time. There's no way you can't take their opinions into consideration. It's a really smart and good business idea out of you. So good on you for coming up with this, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, no, these ideas and some of the things is just from the people in the game that I've been speaking to over the last 18 months, right? We've heard so much softball talk. We've heard so much things. I think it makes sense. I do. And the SSA motto is for the players. Well, now it's going to be partly for the players. So, and if they don't accept it, then us players we can do what us players want to do, right?
Yeah.
We can do things. I just think that they will work with us because without the players, there is no SSA, there is no softball, really. So I think they will. And Gio, you know, I know people are, oh, what's Gio going to do? Gio's going to run the live stream, right? We want Gio to do that stuff. You and I both, we've said this a million times. We both watch the live streams. We both watch what he does. I mean, yes, we would love to help him, but that'll never happen. So
Yeah,
it is what it is, right? So I think he will enjoy just being able to run the live streams and continue to grow his page, right? So cool.
Cool with me.
All right, my man. Well, everyone, I appreciate the time tonight. I know it went a little longer than expected. Did you appoint yourself to the board, Donnie?
I did.
He did. He did. So, thank you for watching the Uncle Jimmy and Cousin Donnie show, sponsored by the Beacon Tap, Signature Transportation Group, and Mom and Dad Water. Really, did you have a Mom and Dad Water yet?
No, I haven't. I have not. I'm going to, though. I'm going to very soon.
All right, my man.
All right, buddy.
And we also, I know we talked about hot dog reviews. We've been doing that, so we're gonna break those out very soon. So once again, guys, peace. We appreciate the follows and we appreciate